Hi guys, a very good evening. So as much as I would like to wait for others to join, live classes, again, according to the rules that we follow, they are very strictly scheduled, meaning 5:30 sharp, I will start talking. And until 5:40, I've already told you how the structure is. I just want to know now, like today is the second class of PM. I just wanted to know how many of you are attending my class for the first time. Yani, you haven't attended the demo live, you haven't watched the demo ever, and also at the same time, you did not attend the first class and you did not even watch the first class. How many are brand new to me? I know that I have seen Komal yesterday. I saw Alina yesterday. I saw Krishna also, I think, yesterday. I saw Sandesh. Is- How do I pronounce your name? Nina? Nina Gonsalves. Diana. Uh, have you attended the class before? Again, Chaturthi was there. Okay, so this is your first class. Again, please make sure that also Dia's first class. Okay, please make sure that you watch the recording that has been uploaded on the LMS. Okay, uh, with after every class, the recording of that session gets uploaded on the LMS. So ensure that without fail you watch it because we've already covered these topics that are there in front of your screen, in front of my screen, right? So these are some topics that I had already done. Okay. And as I mentioned, first 10 minutes until 5:40, I will basically be asking questions from what was already covered in the earlier chapter. Sorry, in the earlier class. Right. So I think the first question I will ask to Komal. Komal, are you there? Dia, okay, yeah, the first class. Komal, can you tell me what is activity-based costing? Activity-based costing. And I don't know, probably you are typing. So while you type, Alina, are you there? Yes. So with regards to the approval, if you have given the request just now or yesterday, probably it has not been approved yet because again, it is done by the team. So the team is on leave today, being it is Sunday. So you will most likely get it approved tomorrow. So you will get your access tomorrow. Okay. Uh, Alina, can you tell me Komal cost that is split fairly between the parties? No, you'll have to add a little bit more to that. Cost that has been split fairly based on the activity or the usage is what activity based costing is. Yeah, based on activity. Alina, can you tell me what are the features of a service industry? Again, guys, the ones who are attending this for the first time, the class is structured like this. This is the structure of the class. 5:30, we are following very strict rules about following the timings very strictly. But this is the structure. 5:30 to 5:40, I ask questions from the previous class. 5:40 to 6:55 will be the first session. 6:55 to 7:05, there will be a 10-minute break. We neither do we extend the break by 1 minute, nor do we cut it short by 1 minute. Exactly 10 minutes you will get as a break. So you are aware, okay, anything you want to do, you can do it between 6:55 and 7 p.m. Right? Sorry, 6:55 and 7:05. 7:05 to 8:20 will be the second session of teaching. And 8:20 to 8:30, the last 10 minutes will be for review. Now, even the ones who are watching the recorded session, this piece of information will be very useful to you because I will start teaching only at 5:40. So you can just skip the recording to 5:40. First 10 minutes, I'm just asking questions. You know very well that the break ends at 7:05. So you can just kind of forward 2 minute. You have my time on the screen, you can see the time, right? So you skip it to 7:05. That is after 6:55, you know exactly that I'll start talking from 7:05. Right? So this is something that will even help the ones who are attending, watching the recordings, uh, and for whatever reason they're not able to attend the classes, right? Now, yes, Alina, variability, inseparability, perishability, no transfer of ownership, and intangibility. That's absolutely right. Vipin, yes, Vipin is nice acronym for this. Now, probably, maybe if Sandesh, if you can, and I think Akshita is also new to this class. Akshita, were you there yesterday, or have you watched any of my demos or videos, any recording you watched, anything of that sort? Are you new to me, or you have seen the class? I can see a few new names. Akshita, Dia mentioned this is first time, and Yana, along with Sayyid. These are all the new people today. Okay. So again, I would repeat the same thing. Please ensure that you watch the previous class, Saturday's class, yesterday's class, because that was the first class and I've covered like 6 topics. Activity-based costing, when is activity-based costing more suitable, advantages and disadvantages of ABC, and we saw a big sum, a big numerical on activity-based costing yesterday. Okay. And yesterday, in the last 10 minutes or so, we had started key factor analysis. And I had basically, specifically, everything I taught you live. But just for key factor analysis, I showed you a video that I have pre recorded. Right. So today we will continue from key factor analysis and we will complete key factor analysis. Because once we complete key factor analysis, we can immediately start with throughput. Okay, yesterday I think I had Zohaib. Today Zohaib is not here. Anyway, so today also, unfortunately, I will start from key factor analysis from the beginning so that a quick revision happens because most of you are new. Most of you were not there yesterday. I will show you a brief on key factor analysis and then after that we will go to throughput. But again, as I mentioned, key factor analysis alone, this is one topic which I will show you a pre-recorded video of myself. I mean, it's me teaching key factor analysis in a pre-recorded video. Okay, so Sandesh, can you just tell me what is inseparability in features of a service industry? What do we mean by inseparability? Inseparability. Chaturthi, can you tell me what is intangibility? So one of you inseparability and one of you intangibility. Yes. Okay, so inseparability is where not production, okay, delivery. We are giving a service. We're not producing anything. So delivery and receiving of the service happens at the same time simultaneously. Anyway, guys, with that, it is 5:40 p.m. And according to the rules, as I mentioned, we need to start dot on time. So today's class starts now at 5:40. And again, I will be starting with key factor analysis. Please make sure that you are listening very, very carefully. Okay. Although we have looked at a part of this video yesterday, for the sake of those who've joined now, just now, I will be repeating things, but it's like a quick revision for everybody else also, right? A very good afternoon, guys. So today I hope everybody is able to hear me. I just mentioned a very good afternoon, guys. Was everybody able to hear me? Just let me know in the chat box quickly. Alina, can you hear me? Yes, perfect. We are going to look at 3 topics that are mentioned on the screen in front of you. The 3 topics are key factor analysis, qualities of good information, and completion and review. So we're going to start with key factor analysis. And before moving to the text, let me tell you a story. I'm sorry, but this story is a little sad. You have a test, okay? And you have, say for example, 4 chapters to study, right? You have a test, you have 4 chapters to study, and suppose I tell you, you have sufficient time. My question to you is, how many chapters will you study? In this small story, how many chapters are you going to study? I hope all of you say all 4 chapters, right? But let me change this story a bit. Again, you have a test. You have 4 chapters to study, but time is limited. Say you can only study 2 or 3 chapters max. You don't have time to finish all the 4 chapters. What do you do in such a situation? What do you do in a situation where there is a limited resource? In this example, time is limited. And your limited resource cannot cover everything you have to do. In this case, 4 chapters to study. What do you do in such a circumstance? And I'm sure such circumstances come to you on a day-to-day basis. Yes? What do you do? How do you make best use of your limited resource, which is in this example, time? Now, as a savior to these kind of problems comes key factor analysis, where you have a limited resource, right? And you're supposed to make the best use of your limited resource, right? So key factor analysis is used in a situation where you have a limited resource and you're trying to make the best use of it. Let me now, if you've understood this, explain this to you better with the help of an example in your textbook. But I hope it's clear that in this example that I gave, time was limited and you could not study all the 4 chapters.
So in such a circumstance, what do you do? Maybe some of you might say, I will prioritize the chapters with more weightage, right? And you'll try to make the best use of your time. And this is what we're going to look at right now, right? So I'm going to take this off and we're going to look at a question to help you understand key factor analysis better. Right? So look at example 8, where there's a company, you make PQR, all of this information is in front of you. Contribution per unit is 210 for P, 72 for Q, and 46 for R. And the demand for P is 200, Q is 600, R is 1000. Right? Before I solve this for you, I'll try to explain to you what the problem is. Right? So in key factor analysis, we first looked at the example introducing key factor analysis. Now we move to looking at what the problem is from the question. Right? Guys, let me keep your textbook and the board side by side. Right. So you have 3 products, P, Q, and R. And obviously, you would want to make all of them, right? So the demand for P is how much? 200 units. So you would want to make all 200. The demand for Q is how much? Again, 600. You want to make all 600. Okay, fine. And the demand for R is how much? 1000. So you want to make all 1000 units, right? No problem at all. Now, how much time, because time may be a limited resource, I'll come to that later, but how much time does each P, Q, and R take to make? It's not given directly, you can look, but you can find that out. How? Look at P, labor. How much did you pay for 1 P? How much have you paid for 1 P? 300. Yes. And at what rate did you pay? You paid at 20 for 1 hour. Per hour. So obviously, if you paid at a rate of 20 for each hour, and totally you have paid 300, how many hours did it take? 300 divided by 20, which is 15 hours. Again, guys, it's simple math. So each P, 1 P takes 15 hours. Let's look at how much time does 1 Q take. Again, you paid $160, right? And the rate of paying is $20 per hour. So if you paid $20 for 1 hour and totally you've paid 160, how many hours did they work for? 8. So it's 160 is how much you totally paid. You paid at a rate of $20 per hour. Therefore, one queue takes 8 hours. And similarly, 1 hour takes, I want you to do this, guys. I'm just putting the number there, but I would want in this situation for you to do the calculation yourself. So the last point, I'm not explaining anything. I want to leave it to you. But 1 hour takes 2 hours. So guys, here, how much time is required is clear. Let's put this over here. This we're going to put here to know how much time is needed in total. 1P takes 15 hours and we are making 200 Ps. If 1P takes 15 hours, then guys, again, I don't want to open my calculator. It's basic calculation. 200 into 15. Yes? 3,000. That's how I got it. 3,000 hours you need to spend to make all 200 Ps. Similarly, 1Q, we know from here, takes 8 hours. And obviously, if you're making 600 Qs, each queue takes 8 hours, then you're spending 4,800 hours making queues. And 1 hour makes, sorry, yes, 1 hour takes 2 hours, and you're making 1,000 hours. So to make all 1,000 hours, how much time is required? You need 2,000 hours. So in total, time required will be 3,000 hours for P, 4,800 hours for Q, and 2,000 hours for R, which is 3 plus 7, 8 plus 2 is 9,800 hours. That's the total time that is required. Required, putting it in bold. Your question is telling you the total time that you have. It's telling you clearly that the time is only, the total time that you have is 7,800 hours. Yes. So guys, now can you see the problem? Do you see the problem? You have only 7,800 hours, but you need 9,800 hours. So this is the problem, guys. Right? So the first aspect to my explanation of key factor analysis was the example that I used to introduce key factor analysis. And second is the problem. That is looking at what is the problem from the question. So I hope you understand now that we cannot make all P's, all Q's, and all R's, because if you would want to make all P's, all Q's, all R's, you need 9,800 hours, but you have only 7,800 hours. And therefore, that brings me to the third part of this question, of this topic rather, and that's to understand that we're supposed to prioritize our products. We're supposed to make the best use of the time that we have, right? Rank the products. And based on that, we prioritize. That's the third part of this example that we're going to look at. So let's look at the third part. Guys, now that you agree that we cannot make all P's, all Q's, all R's, let's look at this. I ask you a question. Which products do we prioritize, or how do we rank? Because obviously in our limited time, we will have to first make, say, P, then Q, then R. We'll have to prioritize, right? We can't make all. So on what basis do you prioritize? Some of you might say, oh, let's make all R's first. I'm just giving you an example because R has the maximum demand. But you're forgetting that it is P that is earning us the most contribution. So shouldn't P be ranked first? So let's rank our products, okay? And based on that, we will prioritize. So we have P, we have Q, and we have R. The contribution, I'm just putting it as C. The contribution per unit is 210, 72 for Q. It's there, guys, on the left-hand side. It's there, 72. And 46 is the contribution for R. Right? So based on this, can I rank and say, okay, P will be ranked first, because obviously P is earning us the highest contribution. So it looks like the most important product to us. Q is ranked second and R is ranked third. Is this fine? Is this making sense? Many of you will agree, but let me give you an example. Forget ACCA for the moment. Suppose I tell you that you have two types of questions. A-type questions and B-type questions. All right. A-type questions are going to fetch you 15 marks each. And B-type questions are going to fetch you 20 marks each. Now tell me, guys, which questions will you prioritize, A-type or B-type? Almost all of you will say, I will prioritize B-type questions, yes? But suppose I changed, or say rather I added some information and I said, A-type questions, yes, 15 marks each. But it takes only 1 hour to study each question. And B-type questions, yes, it gets you 20 marks, but you'll have to spend 5 hours. Now, guys, tell me, which questions do you want to prioritize? Is your answer?
Guys, I want everybody's answers. Now, which question are you going to prioritize? Everybody. Yes, thank you. That's absolutely right.
Still B-type questions? Now all of you will change your answer and say, no, we will do A-type questions, because again, you'll do the math subconsciously. You'll be like, fine,
It's
if I
6
spend
o'clock.
1 hour at A-type questions, I get 15 marks, right? So A-type questions 15 marks per hour. But B type questions, how many marks am I getting in 1 hour of study? If 5 hours is getting me 20 marks, you get only 4 marks per hour studied. Now you tell me, will you prioritize A type questions or B type questions? Obviously now everybody will say A type questions, right? Because it's not just looking at the marks each question is fetching you. Let me type that. It's not just looking at the marks each question is fetching you. It's also looking at the marks that you can get per hour studied. Because time is limited. Using this example, I'll use this example as part 4 of this topic, right? Using this part 4, using part D, if we go back to part C, do you still want to rank your products this way or do you want to reconsider it? You might want to reconsider. It's not just looking at the contribution per unit, just like how it was not just looking at the marks each per question. It's also looking at the contribution that you get per hour spent, because time is limited, just like how it was important to look at the marks that you got per hour that you studied. So I've just used part D of this topic to help you understand the logic behind part C of this topic. So we might want to reconsider our ranking, right? P, yes, no doubt is getting us 210 per unit. But if we go back to part, for example, we go back to where is part B? Yes, we go back to part B. Each P takes 15 hours. Each P is taking 15 hours. So you spend 15 hours to get 210. Each Q is taking you 8 hours. Right? Is each Q taking you 8 hours? Yes. Each Q is taking you 8 hours to get 72. And each R is taking you 2 hours. Yes. Therefore, what you need to do now is, yes, you're getting 210 contribution for 15 hours, but what is the contribution per hour that you are getting? Because again, it's the, who can tell me, guys, how much is the contribution you are making per hour? Again, please don't sit like, we have to ensure, we made this clear yesterday, that we're sitting with a calculator. 210 each P makes, and each P takes 15 hours. So how much is the earning or contribution per hour for each hour? How much is P making? Everybody fast. You have to again make use of your calculator. 210 is the contribution that P makes, and each P takes 15 hours. So how much is the contribution per unit? Who can tell me? Let's see who gives the answer first.
Komal, it will not be 14 units. Please, we're not calculating units anywhere over here. What are we calculating? We're calculating the contribution per hour. So it will the unit, you will not use the word unit. You will say it is the contribution or dollar per hour.
Hours that are limited. If, again, simple math, guys, if you're earning 210 for 15 hours, the contribution you earn per hour is 210 divided by 15, which is 14. $14 is the contribution you earn per hour in P. Similarly, Q is getting you a contribution of 72, but it takes 8 hours. So 8 hours, you're getting a contribution of 72. So what is the contribution per hour? 72 divided by 8, which is $9. That's the contribution Q is earning you per hour. And similarly, R, guys, I want you to do this yourself. I'll just put it there. But I want you to come to this figure on your own. Right? Now, based on this, we can rank our products. So this we're getting rid of, and we're coming with a new ranking, and we're saying that P's are ranked second, because first is R. You can see here, 23. It's earning you the highest. It's actually R that's earning you the highest per hour. So therefore, R will be ranked first, P will be ranked second, and Q will be ranked third. Right? Guys, just give me a moment. Yes. So we can continue now. So we've got our ranking. So the first rank, that is the first priority, is to R. The second priority is to P, and the third priority is to Q. So part C of the question is looking at ranking the products, and part D of the question helped you understand how we rank with the help of an example. Right? Moving on. We've now ranked the products, guys. Right? So what we do now is we understand that it's R that's ranked first. So we make all the R's first, right? What is the demand for R's? Guys, we have our ranking now, okay? We can just start making. First rank is to R. Second rank is to P. And third rank is to Q. So we have our ranking. So we can start making. So we start making R's because R is ranked first. Right? So R, the demand is 1,000. We don't want to exceed the demand. Each R, 1,000 units. Each R takes how many hours? We know it from our earlier calculation. Each R takes 2 hours. Each R takes 2 hours. So if you're making all R's, it'll take us 2,000 hours, right? Because 1,000 units you have to make, it takes 2 hours for each unit. So 2,000 hours are spent making R's. The next ranked product, if you remember, was P. See, P. So we're now going to prioritize P's. So P, what's the demand for P? The demand for P is 600 units. Each P, if you remember, required 15 hours. Right? Each P required, guys, I'm sorry, P, the demand is 200. Each P required 15 hours per unit. Again, we've done that, guys. I'm just showing it to you. Each P required 15 hours. So if you're going to make 200 Ps and each P is taking 15 hours, again, simple calculation, 200 into 15, it takes 3,000
Guys,
hours.
I want all of you to keep typing the answers, guys. Sit with a calculator. We're not watching a YouTube video. Ensure that you're sitting with a calculator and you have answers coming in before I give the answer.
Guys, now the only product that's left is Q. But what we have to understand is time was limited. Time was limited at 7,800 hours. We do not have time to make all Qs. See, time is limited at 7,000. So guys, simple calculation. In 7,800 hours, if 5,000 hours, as you can see on the screen, if they are over, how much time is left? 2,800 hours. Yes? That's how much time you have for Q. And you know from earlier calculation that each Q takes 8 hours. So if each Q is taking 8 hours, how many Qs can you make in 2,800 hours? Just simple calculation. 2,800 hours. Each Q takes 8 hours. So you can make 350 Qs in this time that you have. Yes? So this is the figure that we arrived at. 350 Qs you can make in the time that you have. So the best use of our 7,800 hours is to make 1,000 hours, 200 Ps, and instead of 600 Qs, since we have limited time, we will make only 350 Qs. Right? This is the best use of our limited time, right? Because we know that we had ranked our products, and based on our ranking, we have made the products. So the best use of the 7,800 hours is to make 1,000 hours, 200 Ps, and 350 Qs, right? So I hope this is clear, right? Finally, we're going to look at the next thing. We know that we're going to make 1,000 Rs, 200 Ps, and 350 Qs. Now what we're going to do is, what's the contribution that we're going to earn? What's the maximum contribution earned? We know that the best option is to make 1,000 Ps, 1,000 Rs, 200 Ps, and 350 Qs. So what will be the contribution that we earn in this mix? We can easily find out. Why? Because we're making 1,000 units of R, right? Fine. Each R takes 2,000 hours. Okay, let me take the hours. Takes 2,000 hours. Yes. Now, guys, You know what is the contribution per hour? Here, we had calculated it before. Yes. So simply substitute this. 23 is the contribution per hour for R. And R is taking 2000 hours. The contribution is 23 per hour. So if the contribution is 23 per hour, for 2000 hours, the contribution will be $46,000. Similarly, you can do for P and for Q. P total hours were 3000. The contribution per hour, again, we go back. The contribution per hour for P was 14. So if the contribution is $14 per hour, and we are working for, sorry, P is taking 3000 hours, 3000 into 14 will be, again, simple calculation, 42,000. That's the contribution you will earn from P. And similarly, you do Q. How many hours is Q taking? 2,800 hours. Each Q was earning you a contribution of $9. You have it here. We had calculated it before. So if each Q is earning you a contribution of $9 per hour, then it's going to be, again, just calculate for $9 per hour. If that's the contribution per hour, then for 2,800 hours, the contribution will be $25,200. Therefore, for all P's that we make, all Q's we make, and all R's we make, the total contribution will be 46 plus 42 plus 25,200, which is, use your calculator, guys. 46,000 plus 42,000 is 88,000 plus 25,200 is 113,200. That's the maximum contribution you're earning. Right? So I hope this is clear, right? So what did we do? We looked at key factor analysis, in which I explained key factor analysis with the help of an example, what we do in key factor analysis, right? I hope all of you are clear with that. Then we looked at what the problem is from the question, as in we understood from the question, this is B. We understood from the question, this part, that we need 9,800 hours, but we have only 7,800 hours. That's the issue that we understood. Then since we understood that we cannot make all P's, Q's, and R's, we had to come to part C, which is ranking the products, right? You will see us ranking the products over here. We've ranked the products, right? We do not simply rank them based on contribution per unit. We will rank them based on contribution per hour. I hope all of you understood that. And we get the ranking, right? That is the next thing we did. But the explanation as to why we are taking the contribution per hour is over here. Yes? As in, We saw why are you taking the contribution per hour and not just the contribution per unit. That we did in part D. And then we came back to part C and we ranked our products. Once we finished ranking our products, we moved on to calculating based on the new rank, calculating based on the ranking, the best production plan. I'll come to this. Is basically the optimum, the best production plan. That is based on the limited time, we understood that it's best to make 1000 hours, 200 Ps, and 350 Qs. So that's what we did in E. We calculated, this is here in front of you. We calculated based on the ranking, the best or the optimum product mix. The optimum product mix is 1000 hours, 2000 Ps, and 350 Qs. That's what we did in E. Right? So in E, we calculated the optimum product mix based on the ranking we got. Right? And finally, this is what we did in E. Finally, going to F, based on the optimum product mix, what is the maximum contribution we earn is what we did in F. This is F. So in F, what we do is based on the optimum product mix, we calculate the maximum contribution we earn. Right? So this is what we did in key factor analysis, the first topic for the day. And I would like...
Okay, guys. So with that, key factor analysis in itself is over. The ones who have understood key factor analysis, you will automatically be able to do something known as throughput accounting, and the things that come after that. But I hope key factor analysis was very easy to understand. Yes, or was it difficult? Was it easy? Did you understand? Now, guys, again, this is week 1. And again, PM as a paper, many people panic. Oh, PM, I told this yesterday also, lowest pass rate, they're all scared. Yes, definitely you need to practice, no doubt. But here in class, it's all about, I'm asking you if you understood. With regards to practice, again, on the NMS, we will give you weekly tests, right? And we will also, upload certain videos on doing exam kit questions as well. So you get that kind of support. But what is extremely important is understanding of concepts, right? I did mention this yesterday also. Now again, because again, the ACC, sorry, AA, ACCA, everything is coming in my mind. Because PM has a low pass rate, because people already enter PM with panic. I haven't opened the Kaplan book yet for you, because by the end of today's class, I want you people to feel PM isn't that hard after all. It is pretty simple. Once you have that mindset, once you have that mentality, then I can open 10 textbooks in front of you and you will be able to still not feel scared, right? In today's class, in today's session, yes, we've completed key factor analysis, but now just for the sake of maintaining, I will move to something which is theoretical. I will move to a theoretical topic because we've spent about 40 minutes in doing numbers. And I don't want like that burnout, that numerical burnout to be there for you, numbers, 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 numbers. So that's why now I have decided to take on a theoretical topic to ensure that the balance is there. And now what I'm going to introduce you is something known as life cycle costing. Yesterday we saw activity-based costing. Again, the ones who were not there yesterday, make sure you watch yesterday's recording. Okay. Yesterday we saw target costing. Again, the ones who are not there, make sure you watch it. But today we're going to look at life cycle costing. How many of you know what life cycle costing is? Let me know. Nobody. All right. Okay. What is life cycle costing? See, what you have to understand. Somebody has messaged. Let's see. Life of the product. Okay, so what is life cycle costing? Where can we watch yesterday's recording? Very interesting question. I don't know how. Look, we mentioned this in the group, but there is an LMS that you have access to. Like we've shared the details on how to access the LMS and how to kind of log into it. Right? So just check the group. We've shared those details. And that is how you log in, right? If there is any problem, there is a hotline number. You can WhatsApp on that number. Or, I mean, you people can even personally message me. I'm there in all the groups. And my number is 733919169. And the hotline number has already been shared in the groups. Okay, this is my personal number. Hotline number is again shared in the groups, but just for your sake, I'm having a look at it. Yeah, so it is 814 814 808 4134. This is the hotline number. Please bear in mind we're based in India. So definitely if you are outside of India, which quite a lot of you are, please do not forget to put the country code, India country code, +91. Obviously, if you are in India, you need not put that. But at least yesterday, there were quite a lot who are not in India. And in various batches, there are many who are not in India. So please make sure +91 is something that you add. Now, what is life cycle? I'll give you a small example. First of all, what is that thing? A little bit of science I have to look at. I'm just Googling it real fast so that I don't embarrass myself. Yeah. So a caterpillar, how does a caterpillar look? I mean, caterpillar isn't very famous for being good looking, right? I mean, let me just show you my screen. Yeah. So caterpillar isn't something that is believed to be very good looking. See, nobody says, oh, caterpillar, very good looking. Nobody says that. But
caterpillar becomes what? Butterfly. And people believe a butterfly to be something very good looking, very beautiful. Right? So let's remove the caterpillar, but let's just show the butterfly. So the butterfly, people believe it to be good looking, to be beautiful, right? So the thing is, again, caterpillar, at its stage when it is caterpillar, if we just say, ah, very ugly, not good, and we kind of just judge it at one stage of its life and make decisions based on one stage of its life. Based on one stage of its life. Is it good? Is it the smart thing to do? Oh, you just look at one stage of the life of the caterpillar and say, oh, this is very ugly. Not good. I mean, I know we're not making any decisions about the caterpillar's life, but again, I'm just trying to tell you that if we look at just one stage of the life of the caterpillar and we say, and we pass our judgment, is that right? Yes or no? Definitely not, right? We have to look at the entire life cycle of the caterpillar. Yes, now it is ugly, but it will go from ugly to beautiful. It will, again, we have to look at the entire life cycle of the caterpillar to be able to say anything. And that's the same case and story with business also. Are you understanding? What do I mean by that? Is probably when you start business, the sales will be very low. Like when we started Finchartered Academy, we didn't even have one student, obviously. And obviously, we had a space, like right now, also, I'm sitting in class and I'm taking this class. We had a space, we had expenses, but the revenue was nothing. So the sales are very low, right? But now, not bad. We have decent uh, revenues, right? So, what you have to understand is revenues, costs are all different over the life of the product, right? Whatever it is, the business itself has its own life cycle, just like a caterpillar. It will start at that point, there will be a time of struggle, right? Sales will be low, costs will be high, right? So business also has its own life cycle, and life cycle costing says that number one, we need to look at the entire life cycle of a business before we assess whether that specific business, that specific project is a worthwhile project, is a good project. So we have to first forget costing. We have to first look at the life cycle of a business. And again, in your material, in your syllabus, we learn about this. We learn about the life cycle of a product or a business, where initially, anybody wants to do any business?
Again, guys, I hate to see this. Starting when I start, there are 11 people in the class, and then now there are 8 people in the class. Make sure if you're watching the recording, you watch it fully. Right? Tell me, yes. So tell me, how many of you want to do business? Who wants to do business? You aspire to at some point do business. Alina wants to do business. Alina, in any specific line, which line of business interests you? Like food, fashion, entertainment, education. Which line? Any specific line you have? Or you just want to do business? You don't know which business. Not yet decided. Okay. So suppose we have decided to make, like a product where while teaching, I mean, the product itself is so innovative that while I teach, I'm just giving you an example. While I teach, you will get to hear me in the language of your choice. Live. This is a big project. So while I'm teaching, okay, maybe Alina will get to hear in Hindi, maybe somebody else will get to hear in Tamil, maybe somebody will get to hear in Malayalam, somebody will get to hear me in Gujarati. But while I speak automatically, at the same time, it gets converted to another language of your choice. So this is a new product that we want to launch. Okay. Now, here, what will happen is, first of all, will the product be ready made there? When I start, will it be there or I have to work hard, develop it? Will the product be there ready made? Or will I have to work? Will I have to do research and then gradually develop it? Work for it, right? So the first stage is where I will do research and development. I will do a study about the product that I want to launch, right? And then I will develop it. I'll not just directly introduce it to you people. I'll first do a research and I'll make sure that there is something there on the table. So that is the first thing. Once research and development has happened, it's like I can give you another analogy. I appreciate you people being patient, but for me, I have a little bit of teaching OCD. Right, I have to give like 2, 3 examples. I have to make sure that you have understood. Otherwise, I don't get that satisfaction. Right. So another example would be, say you want to make cookies. You don't know how to make cookies. So will you automatically introduce it to your guests without studying the recipe, without making the cookies? Will you or can you automatically introduce it to your guests? No, right? So the first step is research and development, and only after you have done that stage, only after you have crossed that stage. Yes, so first you make it, taste it, then probably, maybe develop it a little more for the after you cross that. So now I want to have cookies. for whatever reason.
That is the problem of giving too many examples in class. So after you cross that stage is when you will introduce the product to your customers. Okay. So remember, let's not cross more than research and development and introduction. But remember, in the research and development stage, there are no sales because obviously you're still trying to make the cookies, you're still trying to figure out the recipe, you're still trying to develop it, improvise on the taste, and so on. So there is no sales. So obviously, if there's no sales, there's no income. But you are doing research, you are doing development, you are doing the study, you are checking in the ingredients, you are ordering the ingredients, you are trying to make a sample of cookies. So will that be free or will it cost money? I want everybody to answer. Will it be free or will it cost money? Everybody, it will cost money, right? And that is what you need to make sure that you are understanding. There's no sales, there's no income, but you have high costs. So obviously, definitely, do you think you will have profits or you will have loss? Obviously, you have a loss. Then comes the introduction stage. When you introduce, will everybody come running for your cookies from everywhere across the world? You've just introduced. Nobody knows about you, no? Like, how many of you knew about Finchartered Academy? We are there from almost 8 months now. How many of you had heard of us? Had heard about me? Had heard about Finchartered? Anybody? Anyone? No? Why? Because when you introduce, not until 2 days back. So when you introduce, you don't, not many people know you. Not many people have heard about you. And I mean, you've just started, right? So your sales will be there. Maybe you'll sell one or two cookies, but they will be low sales. So revenue is there, but it's low, right? So you sell a few cookies and you have low revenue. But your costs will be high. Why will your costs be high? Because even though you are selling only one cookie, two cookies, you still have to pay for the factory. And will the landlord of the factory say, oh, so sad, only one cookie you are selling, don't pay me rent? Will he say that? No. So your even though your revenue is low, your costs are high. For example, you will still have fixed costs. It's okay if you don't know what is fixed cost, but costs are high. What about advertising and marketing? Again, nobody knows your cookies. So you will have to advertise too much. Again, as Alina mentioned, nobody knew about me. So I have to advertise. I have to talk about me. Right? So there are high advertising costs also. So obviously, if income is low, revenue is low, costs are high. So will you have profits or will you have losses? You will be loss making, right? It's very unlikely that you introduce and you are like, oh wow, profits. That will not happen, right? So we are looking at the life cycle of a company or a product.
Okay, just like a caterpillar has a life cycle, just like a person has a life cycle, right? Like a small baby, again, age 0 to 5, he will not go out much. He will be with his mother only. Then 5 to 10, he will go out. He will want a lot of junk food. He will make some friends. So there are stages, right? The same way, even with a product, even with a business, there are stages. Research and development is done, introduction is done. After introduction, gradually will come growth. You will start growing now. More and more people will know about your cookies. More and more people will start ordering your cookies. Maybe, I order your cookie and I call 10 friends for a get together. Everybody has your cookies. And now everybody is ordering. Everybody like the cookies. So after introduction comes the stage where you will finally start growing, meaning that your sales will pick up, right? Your costs will still be high, but your sales have improved, right? And most likely, this is where you will reach a stage where you are no more loss making in loss. You are no more in loss, but you are also not making profits. So you are at zero. Anybody knows what is this point called? You're not making a loss, but you're not making a profit also. Anybody knows what is this called? Very good, excellent. Again, if you don't know, it's fine. Break even. So this is where you will break even. Break even means you don't have a profit, but at the same time, there is no loss also. So this is most likely where you will hit break even. Costs are still high because again, you want to market the product, you want it to reach out to everybody and so. Okay. For example, your old box TV. When these TVs came, nobody had these TVs. You can ask this question to your parents or maybe your grandparents, right? But when these TVs came out, having a TV in the house was a very big deal. Like only like wealthy people used to have TV, fridge, AC in the house. I'm talking about 70s, 80s. Not everybody would have TV, fridge. Now it's like a basic thing. But when I'm talking about like the olden times, all of these were not things that everybody had, right? So when the TV came in, initially it was introduced, very few people had it. But after that, there was a growth. See, there was a growth. More and more people started buying TVs. And then sometime in the 2000s, early 2000s to mid 2000s, if you remember, I don't know, again, not what your age groups are, but early to mid 2000s, there was a stage where everybody had these TVs, not this one, but probably at least this type. Every house, there was this TV, right? So it had reached a state of maturity where the sales are at an all-time high. Costs are low. Why are costs low? Because you reach a stage where you have, again, I don't want to use too much technical terms, but obviously you are making so many TVs, and if you make so many TVs, you have high production. So you are buying materials in bulk.
And what happens when you go to a shop today, tell him I want 200 kgs of rice. What will he give you? He will give you a discount. So whenever you buy something in bulk, you get benefits of discounts. And because of that, because you've scaled up means you've increased the volumes. It becomes economical. You get discounts. Can anybody tell me what is this called? Where when you scale up, the cost becomes more economical. I'm giving you a clue by my choice of words. But anybody knows what I'm talking about? Talking about what? Again, when you reach a certain scale of production, you basically get more discounts. People are ready to give you discounts. People are ready to give you better prices. What is that stage called? That stage is called economies. Economies. Why economies? Because people are now giving you discounts. No, not break even point. That stage is called economies of scale. What do I mean by economies of scale? That stage, wow, there are fireworks. For what? Any festival? Anyway, so economies of scale is where you get things at an economical. Economical means comparatively cheaper. Again, cheaper is not the best word to use, but a good price. Economies, economical prices for goods and services. Why? Because of scaling up. Scaling means because of your volumes have gone up. Do this, for example. Go to a shop, buy 1 kg of rice. You will pay a normal price. But now you go and say, I want 50 kgs of rice. Immediately, the shopkeeper will give you a discount, which is economical for you. Why did you get this economical discounted price? Because of your scale. Because of scale means what? The size. So, as you reach maturity, again, you get economies of scale. Why? Because you are producing so much that you get good prices also. So, you get economies of scale, which is a good thing, right? And this is where you have good profits. Finally, now tell me this, going back to the TV example, before we go for the break, as I told you, this is the system that we follow. 6:55 to 7:05 will be the break. But before we go to the break, I want to ask you all one question. How many of you have this TV at home now? Day. How many of you don't have this TV at home? Say no, don't have. Oh, in your grandmother's house, you have this TV. Okay. What about others? How many of you don't have this TV? Don't have. See, the question is simple. Either you have or you don't. You just have to type have or don't have. Chaturthi does not have. Akshita does not have. What about others? Komal, um, Krishna, Sayed. Yeah, it doesn't work anymore. So I'm sure there are clothes, if not clothes, some medicines or some absolutely, that TV must be used as some place to keep things, most likely. Right? So every product
So basically what we're trying to say is after reaching maturity, there is a stage where the product starts to decline. I will explain this more on this post the break. Don't leave the meeting. Sharp 7:05 Indian time. We will continue. You can go for your break now. Again, we follow this strictly. Yes, guys. So it is 7:05 p.m. and I hope all of you are back. Just confirm that you are here and you're in front of the screen. Everybody type. Let me know that you're back. Yes, perfect. So now we are going to continue and we're going to look at life cycle. Okay. And I told you this. We were talking about, sorry, supposed to be here. So we were talking about, see, we agreed that this kind of this kind of TV was there in everybody's house in early 2000s to mid 2000s. Everybody had this. But now you people are telling me that you don't have this TV. Nobody has this type of TV in their home right now, right? So that is what we're trying to tell you. It is in the life cycle. Yes, there will be a certain stage of maturity. There will be a certain stage where you have grown fast and you're there. But there will also be a time where you will start declining. You will start going down, right? So that is what this stage is talking about. This stage says this is where sales start dropping. You start R&D for a new product. Why? Because again, this product is now out, right? So this is where the product is coming to an end. So just like a human being's life cycle, there is stages. There's a stage when the person is born, right? Then they gradually grow. They reach a stage of maturity, probably 40 years, 45 years. They are at their, complete stage of maturity at that point of time, 40, 45 years old. Mentally, financially, in every emotionally, at least there's like presumed to be, right? And after that, after maturity, there will be a stage of decline, say probably in their late 60s. There will be a stage where they're not so active, they're not, probably even they've left their job, they've left their business. Now they're kind of, just gradually declining. Same way in a product, in a business, also there are these stages that you need to be aware of. Okay, so these are the 5 stages of the life cycle of a product. And again, if I have to draw it and show it to you, this is a graph where the first stage, who can tell me what was the first stage? Again, let's not look at the answer.
Who can tell me what was the first stage? Try to recollect. Development, research, R&D. Right? So R and D. So this is the first stage. And in this stage, you don't have sales, right? But you have costs, right? So you will be in a loss. So from day zero, when you start, you will be loss making. See, above this line, above X line, it's profit, and below X line is loss. But again, remember, what did I tell you? R&D, there is no sales, but you have costs. So obviously, you are at a loss. Anyway, that part I will come to shortly. So R&D, after R&D, what happens? We're talking about the introduction stage. This is the stage where you have a little bit sales but high cost. So you are still kind of in losses, most likely. Then comes what? After introduction, who can tell me? Growth. This is the stage where gradually sales start picking up. This is also the stage where competitors enter the market. When you are growing, when people see that your product, your service is growing, other people will also start that. So growth is where competitors will enter the market. Let me write it down there. Competitors enter the market. Enter the market, right? After growth comes what? Maturity. This is the stage where you are at your peak. Your sales are high, your costs due to economies of scale have gone down, you're profitable, and so on. And after the stage of maturity comes the stage of decline. So again, I'll use two colors. Okay. The blue color to talk about profits. Remember, R&D, in that stage also you are loss making. In intro also you are loss making. Introduction stage also you are loss making. Why? Because your sales are low, costs are high. But as I mentioned, somewhere in the growth stage, most likely you will touch this point. This point you have touched. This is the point where you are not above the line, you are not positive, you are not profitable, and you are not below the line, you are not minus also. This point on the line is the point where there is no profit, no loss, meaning it is the break even point. So, most likely at the growth stage is where you will break even, and then from there you will gradually start picking up. Maturity will be where you are at your peak, and again, it will kind of plateau. Plateau means at that stage you've reached your best. So it will not continue growing. You've already reached the maturity, and after that, gradually it will start declining. This is what is how most likely the profits will move. So again, what we are looking at in this specific topic is when you look at this blue line, the profit line, you will not look at it at a specific point of time. You will not only look at the profits at R&D and decide, oh, use less product. You will not only decide look at it at the intro stage and say use less product. You will have to look at the product over its entire life cycle. Same way when you look at the product
Just like how you look at the caterpillar, you have to look at it at the over the entire life cycle of it, right? You will have to, excuse me, you will have to look at the costs over the entire life cycle of the product, and that is why this topic is known as life cycle costing. You will look at the cost not at one specific stage in the life of the product. You will look at the cost over the entire life of the product, and that is what is, guys, life cycle costing. So again, the reason I've come to this more of theoretical topic is because we had quite a lot of, we looked at quite intensive numbers, right? We looked at key factor analysis, so many numbers. So that's why I've come to a little bit of a lighter topic. So you look at the cost of the product over the entire life of the product, and not just at, you look at the cost of the product over the entire life of the product, and not just at a specific stage in the life of the product. And that is, guys, what life cycle costing is all about. Okay, I hope this is clear and comfortable to everybody. So this blue line here is the profit line. Apart from that, I'll draw, say, a green line. Now it looks like metro, blue line, green line. But the green line stands for the revenue. And the revenue will start at the intro stage. Remember, as I said, in the R&D stage, there is no sales. So revenue will start at the intro stage, gradually grow at the growth stage, will kind of plateau at the maturity stage, and then from there start declining. So the green line is the revenue line, and the blue line here is the profit line. Okay. So this is what life cycle costing is about. This is what life cycle costing tells us. And we just, in case you want to make a drawing of this, please do. I'll give you a minute. Okay, now we will move on. And what are we going to do now is basically we're going to look at, again, I'm going to clear this. And now we're going to look at the next thing, which talks about how do you maximize the life of the product. Now remember, forget ACCA, forget PM. Again, typical gyan, but as a person, we might not be able to control the life or the duration of life, right? I mean, that's not in our hands. But what will we do? How do we ensure that we get the best out of it? We have to, again, do what? We will have to do certain things that get us the best out of life, right? This could be maybe working properly, doing the right things. Okay. Start earning early, maybe. You know, if you start earning early, you will maybe settle down early. Again, everybody has a different definition of settling down, but you will reach a stage where you are satisfied earlier, most likely. And then take care of your health in a way. Health. Trying to maximize the length of life as well. So if we look at this analogy, going back to this specific topic, if I have to go back to this specific topic, how can we maximize the return over the life of the product is what we have to look at, right? Again, first things first, you have to basically, for example, I'll just give you one example. You have to try to increase the life of the product that you are selling. How? Maybe you have this TV. How can you increase the life? How can you make sure that the decline is delayed? Probably, come with more features. Nokia was there. These certain mobiles now, not many people have that. I feel Nokia. But how can you extend your life? You basically probably come with new features, probably come with new designs, so that people are hooked. People are buying it. If you are just keeping the TV as it is, then very soon it will start declining. Right? So you look at innovative ways to increase the life of the product. Maybe come with a new design, as I said. Maybe come with, obviously, if it's a new design, more people will try to buy it at least. Right? Introducing more technologies. Yes, Alina, that's absolutely right. Introducing more technologies will also help in extending the life of the product that you are selling. Right? So, all of these things are very, very important and essential. So, number one, taking care of, I'm going to remove the other 3 points and I'm going to only mention one. Try to increase the life of the product. To increase the life of the product. Okay, now I'm going to go back here to the index. And these are some very, very important concepts, some very, very important topics that we have covered and completed. And one thing I would definitely want to mention to all of you is, given that it is your first week, I don't want to like overly strain you on too much, right? I want to go slow on you to ensure that you are in line, you are understanding everything, all the topics are clear, comfortable. You are very confident about PM. Okay, so before I tell you what is in my mind and how I plan to go ahead with this batch, how much, I mean, your confidence in PM, How much confident are you with PM now that you've attended like 2 classes? Do you feel more happy about PM now, or you feel PM is very difficult? What is your confident overall thoughts about PM? Now feels very confident. What about other people? 7.5 out of 10. I feel you will reach 10 out of 10 as soon as we start exam kit questions and we are solving exam kit questions. 10, definitely you'll reach 10 out. What about others? Compared to how much was your confidence before starting PM, Alina? Before starting the class. What about others? PM, how are you finding it? 2 out of 10 it was. Others, what are your thoughts about PM? What do you feel about PM? 3 before. So now, Sayed, now it's 8 out of 10. Again, I feel, Sayed, we can reach 2 more than extra 2 marks. I think we will get once we, as I said, start the kits. And what I'm doing is for the kits, for the exam kits, I will be making some content, like some, because obviously in the live class, we can only do so much, right? So what I will do is I will have some content created where we are solving exam kit questions for you. And we will have that uploaded on the LMS so that you can watch it and try practice it while watching it. And that will give you a lot of practice. Okay, what about Diya, Komal, Akshita, everybody? Komal is good. Good means you are confident. Okay. Dia is 7 out of 10. Dia, why are you 7 out of 10? Is it because what is your reason? 7 is very low. How do you think you can add at least 0.5 or 1? Is it because this is the first class you're attending and you want to go back and watch ABC? What is it? Yeah. So, again, guys, what I feel is I would like to give you, call it a day for you. Like, I would like to kind of end this class here for the simple reason that again I haven't opened the textbook really at all because I want you to be comfortable, clear, and happy with what we've done so far conceptually. So you don't open any textbook, don't open anything. Just make sure you're clear and comfortable with this. And everybody goes through studies, make sure they understand all these concepts. And whoever has missed, like in this class, I feel Sayed, Diya, Akshita. Out of 6, 3 of them are people who haven't seen the previous video. So I feel this being our first week, our weekly, we are taking 6 hours as of now. We will gradually increase it to 8 hours, where you have 8 to 9 hours of class every week. But I feel this being your first week altogether, I think we should take it slow because I don't want to like put too much over you. So I feel we should do like a quick revision, quick recap of what we've seen, and then close it for the day. Where number one, what is key factor analysis is the first thing that we've seen. And guys, I will always have this index so that all the topics of PM are on one page or on one index page. Today I started off with key factor analysis. What is key factor analysis? Alina, next class PM batch is scheduled on Saturday and Sunday between 5:30 and 8:30. So again, we want to try and include one more class. So we ensure that we give you 3 classes a week. But as of now, it is Saturday and Sunday, 5:30 to 8:30. So today we've looked at what key factor analysis is. Key factor analysis is basically where there is a limited resource. We are trying to make best use of that limited resource, right? In my example, you had limited time and you had to study for a test. So you want to make sure that you use the limited time in such a way that you get the best outcome. You probably do the most important chapters. What was life cycle costing? Life cycle costing basically says that you look at the costing of a product, not just at one point of time in the life of a product, but over the entire life of the product. The 5 stages of the life cycle of a product are most likely R&D, introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. These are the 5 stages. And how do we maximize the return over the life of the product? Again, at the moment, you just have to know that we will try to extend the life of the product as much as possible by coming in with new designs, by coming in with new technology, and so on. So you increase the life, and if you increase the life, you will sell that product for more time and get more returns from that product. Okay. Now, again, this is our timetable, but because this is the first week, I am putting it at like 1 hour earlier. But again, in future, all of the sessions without fail will be strictly following this schedule. So anybody who wants to plan a break on Saturday, Sunday knows that 6:55 to 7, 5 is the break. Okay, 7:05 to 8:20, we will have the second session. Okay. I will allow you to go through these topics in full, not only the ones that we looked at today, but all of them. ABC, when is ABC more suitable, advantages, disadvantages. Again, the ones who don't have access to the LMS, make sure that you have requested the access. Again, today probably being the Sunday, the team might not be available Sunday evening, but most likely, not most likely, surely tomorrow morning you will get the access to, so you start watching the recordings of the first class, basically yesterday's class. So I want all of you to go through all of this and rate your understanding out of 5. Again, I'll give you 2 minutes for that. Not 2 minutes. Okay, you have 10 minutes. Take your time and go through. Well, good question, Alina. But first of all, whether or not they choose to continue or not will depend on a lot of things, right? For example, where they are at the moment, right? Everybody has different, when it comes to where they are from a professional point of view, where they are from a financial point of view. One simple reason could be that if the product is not doing well, maybe later it will do well, but probably they might just choose to discontinue because the product isn't doing well and they don't have the financial appetite to kind of keep continuing the product. Financial appetite means financial strength. They don't have money to continue the business, to sustain the business, and they might just choose to close it. They might choose to just discontinue the product, right? That could be one simple reason, right? So it is not a one answer question. Everybody could have different reasons for every business, every startup, every founder could have different reasons for not continuing a certain product if it is not profitable. Obviously, the reason is that it is not profitable. But your question is, why don't they continue? Why don't they? So again, their reasons could be different. There are people who do continue, right? So it's it's not a one size fits all answer that okay, this is the reason that they don't continue. It's like if I ask you, uh, there is a specific job that somebody does not like. Okay, they're not making enough money, they have to work very hard. Why why don't they just try? Why don't they just continue? The answer to that is some people do continue. But some people, for whatever reason, maybe they don't have the financial situation to continue in a low paying job, so they leave. So this question is not like a technical answer question. This it just depends and varies from person to person, from company to company, and so on. I hope I've answered your question. Point 9, what are the other factors that the company will take into consideration? We will be looking at that. Again, I just want you to know one point for now, and that one point is not introducing new technologies. Don't say introducing new technologies. You will say extending the life of the product as much as possible. Right? We will try to extend and ensure that the product is there for as long as possible. So is everybody 5 out of 5? Only 2 people have given me their rating out of 5. Others, if you want time, you can take it, no problem. Iya, what about you? Chaturthi, Akshita said 5. Diya is 3 out of 5. Chaturthi. So Diya, how this system itself works is very simple, right? Last 10 minutes, I've put review, right? So how does review work? Whoever gives a rating of less than 5, we basically ask them, why is their rating less than 5? Obviously, if you've given 3, there has to be something that you did not understand, right? In today's class, there has to be something which you didn't understand, and that's why you've given 3 out of 5. So that you will tell me, and I will help you with those topics. So Dia, I want to know what is the topic. No, remaining topics you haven't attended, so you have to attend it. When I ask you on a specific day for today, yeah, so it's always about that day. And when I said go through everything, I meant for those people who have attended everything. Obviously, you cannot do it, right? So this is a system that I have in place so that when you close the class, everything should be crystal clear for you. Should be like, okay, I've attended the class and I understood each and everything. That should be uh, the exit point for you. You should be very, very happy when you leave the class. You should be very, very clear with all the concepts. Okay, so this is something we will follow. Again, please make sure that whenever for the next class, all of you join on time. Okay, and make sure you go through these. And the ones who've missed the first topics, it's essential that you watch them because after this, I will go fast. My pace and speed will pick up. Okay, but again, because today is your first week, keep things lighter. We can close the day. But going forward, these are the timings. Make sure you block yourself at this time, at least if you want to attend live. Okay, thank you so much, guys. You can leave. Thank you.